Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Tyro. I'm your host, Donald Wonder. Now, way back in 2007, FX had this gritty crime mystery drama show that had everyone up in arms, everyone talking about it. But then after a couple of years, it got cancelled. And by that time, I was pissed off with the show and I just left. I was like, good riddance, goodbye. But then it got renewed for 2 final seasons and I heard it ended, but I was still like, no, I must refrain from watching the show. But this character was so conniving, I just knew that I had to finish it. And I recently did, and that's why I'm going to talk about it now that I've completed it all right now.
Tyro Media.
Guys, we're talking about Damages. Damages, as I said before, is a cutthroat lawyer crime drama set in the New York law attorney scene, and it features this very powerful, very strong-willed, very manipulative lawyer called Patty Hughes, which is played by Glenn Close, and it's up-and-coming started lawyer attorneys, young, fresh out of law school attorney called Ellen Parsons, who's played by Rose Byrne. And the series is about the cases they go through over a number of years and their love-hate teacher-student relationship and how everything comes to a head, which is what I was waiting to see all these years. There's a few things about this show that make it different from every other lawyer drama, because there's been, oh my god, countless lawyer drama shows like this, even a lot of movies as well. One of the hooks is that every season focuses on current events per se. Like for instance, the last season of the show is very, I think it's like a nudge, wink wink to the whole WikiLeaks scandal. So, and every other season, even though I can't remember exactly what they were about, are to deal with current major events that have lawyer cases to them. So it gives a lot of perspective and a lot of groundedness to that in those aspects, and it's fun to watch because of that as well. This show has such amazing star power. Now, putting aside the 2 main leads I already spoke about, we've got over the years John Goodman, Timothy Oliphant, William Hurt, Martin Short, Ted Danson. The star power is crazy, and most of these characters you've seen, the actors I just named, they're usually playing good guys, but in this show they're playing villains, and the acting on the most part is superb. The characters annoy me, and to be honest with you, one of the criticism a lot of people have for this show is that everybody is just, there's no moral ground to the show. Everyone's out for themselves. Everyone's doing shiesty, despicable shit, and it's enjoyable, but it can feel a little bit, well, a lot unrealistic at times, but it is one of the points that makes the show intriguing. Apart from that, another aspect of the show which starts off being fresh but runs itself into the ground is it uses the whole flashback, flash forward thing we've seen in Lost, and when you incorporate that into this lawyer drama, it's a new take and it makes it very interesting. And it, you know, when every season starts, you basically see something at the end of the episode, like one of the main characters being murdered or something very thrilling. And then as the season progresses, we get to see how that happened in that point. And then we get to see, you know, it's a mixture of flash forwards, flashbacks. In the beginning, it's compelling and it's interesting, but they overuse it. That's the problem. Every season they use it too much. And if they just used it more sensibly and used a bit more of a tactical implementation in that essence, it could have been a lot better. But by the 3rd season, I was like, I'm sick of these fucking flash forwards and flashbacks. I don't care, just tell it as a linear story. But nah, it still made things interesting overall, but it was overused. Yeah, so as I said before, FX ran the show for 3 seasons, and apparently on the last season it was getting really low ratings, and by that time I was sick of the flash forwards and flashbacks, and a lot of the story elements were just dragging on and the characters were annoying the hell out of me, even though this rivalry between Patty Hughes and Ellen Parsons, you just wanted to see it come to a head. But after season 1 and 2, which was the best seasons, except for the last one, which I'll get to, the 3rd season, really, I just had enough. And I wasn't surprised it got cancelled. FX cancelled it. And I was like, well, that was another show that just didn't meet its potential, got cancelled. Ugh. But ironically, I don't know, like a year later, I heard that Sony renewed the show for 2 final seasons. They were going to wrap up the story. And on top of that, for some reason, well, when it came back on Sony, DirecTV, whatever network it was on, it seemed like they didn't have a lot of the restrictions they had on FX. For example, when it came back on the 4th and 5th season, the profanity was just unleashed, like fucking cunt, all that. And there was a little bit more nudity and a little bit more violence. So, to be honest with you, most cases you would find that to be childish. Like, why do that now? Because it ruined the flow. But to be honest with you, for a lawyer drama, profanity makes it more realistic. You can, you know, in the courtroom, in real life, a murder. So it didn't bother me. It actually brought a little bit of realism. Like I said, I stopped watching it for years, but these characters, these two, I needed to see how it ended. I was just so compelled. And that's one thing I'll give the show credit for. You want to see how these two are going to come to a head. So just recently, 2015, even though it ended in 2012, I went back to watch it. The 4th season, where it picked up again when Sony renewed it, that season with John Goodman, he was a good actor, but the 4th season was rubbish. Honestly, it was filler. I didn't care for it. Most of the reviews said you can skip it. And, you know, I was like, this is why I cancelled it, because it's just not interesting and I'm still not getting what I wanted. But the final season, the 5th season, where they introduced the whole WikiLeaks scandal plot, and they finally got these two characters to have it out head to head in every way. I have to say, this is what I was waiting for the whole fucking show. After season 2, this is the season I wanted. Season 1, 2, and season 5 is what I wanted. Season 3 and 4, forget about it. Season 1, 2, and 5 is what I wanted. And I have to say, man, Glenn Close is phenomenal. She's a phenomenal actress anyway. And a side note, she left The Shield, which she was phenomenal in The Shield, by the way, which I'm gonna speak to. Don't know. I know you guys want to hear about The Shield, but she was great in The Shield, and she left The Shield to do this, and she plays a great anti-villain or just a straight up villain in this show. She's such a conniving, manipulative, I want to say bitch, but she's an interesting character, and she holds the whole show. You can watch the show and think, I hate this character, but she's the only consistent one in the show. Rose Byrne's character, I have a lot of criticism for. Her character and her acting. Her character, to me, doesn't make sense because she's basically another version of Patty Hughes. And that's why Patty Hughes' character loves her so much, because she sees herself in this character. But Rose Byrne's characters, she acts like Patty Hughes always up until the end. Like, oh no, I'm nothing like you, Patty. I'm better than you. I'm like, no, you're fucking not, because you're using the same tactics as her. You're not better than her. So I thought she was very hypocritical all the way to the end, where she proves she's pretty much just like Patty anyway, which is not a spoiler. But the ending did surprise me a little bit. But Rose Byrne's acting, I know I might get criticism for this. I think Rose Byrne is a good actor. I think she's a good actress, however you want to say it. But she's got one of them faces, a bit like Keanu Reeves, where it's like you do one side of acting good, like you do the stoic, menacing thing good, but when it comes to emotion and showing how vulnerable you are, I don't believe you. And Rose Byrne, every time she had an emotional scene and I looked at her face, I didn't buy it. And it wasn't just her facial expressions. I didn't buy those scenes I needed where I needed to see her vulnerable. I didn't buy them. The scenes where she's a lawyer, where she's like Patty Hughes, fine, fantastic, great. But honestly, she annoyed me. Her character and her acting a little bit, but she was fine overall. But just those two things. But Glenn Close holds the show together. All the other actors are absolutely great. And on the whole, I dropped damages, I picked it back up, and I got the ending that I wanted. This show had a good ending. The ending that I wanted. It's a bit of a non-ending, but it's a fucked up ending. It's the ending the show deserves. And on a whole package, I'm gonna give this show a high okay. The bottom line is it didn't meet its potential, which is a damn shame. But I did enjoy this show. The show was not terrible. And there's a reason why I did get renewed, because everybody wanted to see how the show ended. And at the end of the day, we don't see shows that have strong female protagonists. And this is a show that is based off 2 strong female leads that was so compelling, I had to go up and pick it back up. So do I recommend Damages? If you don't mind law dramas, and there are a lot of them out there, yeah. If you want to see strong female protagonists, yes. If you're a fan of Glenn Close, yes. But I would say, watch the first 2 seasons, and then decide if you want to finish it. The third, I would say skip the 4th season altogether. 1, 2, 3 if you must, but 5 is like I just wish, when I look back on this show, I kind of wish it was 3 seasons and they incorporated seasons 1 and 2 and 5 into a single storyline. And another side note before I wrap this up, apparently to my surprise, the writers of the show, the whole production of the show was very hectic to the point where I think William Hurt and Glenn Close even complained that they didn't get enough rehearsal time, they didn't do a lot of production, sometimes things were changed last minute. To hear that in a lawyer drama is very surprising, where there's a lot of dialogue and there's a lot of things to research. I'm actually surprised this was so hectic, you know. I'm very disappointed in that respect, but Glenn Close, this is a phenomenal part for her. I can see why she chose it. On the whole, like I said, it's a high okay, but honestly, it didn't meet its potential and a lot of fans just dropped off the show, and I can understand why. I went back on principle just because I was so curious to see how it ended, and I got the ending I wanted, but some people are not going to go back to the show. But guys, I'm doing a review show, so I'm going to go back and finish the shows that I feel like I need to. And if you notice on this show, that seems to be a theme with me. So, enough said, I've rambled on long enough. Guys, if you've watched Damages or whatever you think about it, let me know in the comments down below. And I'm glad this one is now OVE over. Guys, if this is your first time playing Tyro, welcome to the channel. As you can see on the screen, I do a lot of reviews and discussion on many media stuffs, animation, books, TV shows, what have you. And I always go back to talk about shows I love, I hate. I do it all, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace out.